First, on the law enforcement and supply reduction, illicit trafficking, manufacturing and sale of drugs and unregulated alcohol will be met with the full force of the law. This policy empowers us to intensify our operations against the drug cartels, illicit brewers, and peddlers who prey on the vulnerability of our people, especially our young children. The National Police Service, in close collaboration with specialized units and intelligence agencies, will enhance surveillance, dismantle supply networks, and ensure that those who profit from this menace are brought to justice. We will streamline interagency coordination, making it easy to share intelligence and conduct joint operations across all relevant government departments. There will be no safe haven for criminals engaged in this destructive act. And when I say this, it sounds like a cliche because this has been said by governments. But the experience we got from the Jukwaa la Usalama is such that we have decided that instead of the lofty statements and conferences and workshops and big officers at the national level, we take the problem to the lowest unit possible. And I have told the chiefs and the OCSs that wherever there is no alcohol or drugs that are sold in Kenya without the support and the knowledge of the chief and the OCS. This rest of the stories about the IG, the minister, the CEO, and so forth, it ends at the very lowest unit, the chief and the OCS. And when I say that, the chiefs also said, it is true that we tried to do some enforcement work, but if you don't get the support of the OCS, there's nowhere you can go. So finally, it's actually us within the National Police Service. Enforcement is the most important thing at the lowest unit. And I'm happy that in many of the places we have visited, when we went to Coast, when we went to Northeastern, when we went to North Rift, there has been a renewed passion among the chiefs and the OCSs in different parts of the country who are carrying out serious enforcement. Only yesterday, the day before yesterday, a chief from Kerio Valley Sub-County in Mokora location, and the chiefs and the police officers went uprooting cannabis sativa that is planted along Kerio Valley, along River Kerio, because that area had been controlled by bandits for a long period of time. So what they used to do is to control the place and then plant cannabis sativa. And you cannot imagine, trucks, the amount of bang that was uprooted can fit into a number of lorries, planted, growing, very beautiful. Yeah, and I cannot believe that it was planted for purpose of only local consumption. And I have asked the relevant institutions to work on it. There must be persons who are buying and supplying it in urban areas like Kapsawar, Iten, Eldoret, Kapsabet. So the notion that we always have that the drugs that we have are transited from other countries, especially cannabis sativa, may actually be debunked if we look at these areas where insecurity is very high. Inside there, they are planting these, and I dare say that it includes my ward in Embobut, because of those insecurity areas, again, they plant those, and I saw my chief also, again, from Embobut, with the police officers trying to approach the same plants. And, if you want to know that they take it, is extremely important to these criminals. As soon as the chief did that in Mokora location, they went to our farm and slashed all our mangoes that she had planted over a long period of time. And I've told the chief to continue. We will see how to support her, to compensate the suffering they are going through. But we must continue this exercise. And we'll only achieve it if the lowest unit is motivated and ready to do the job, and they receive the highest support from the national level. Sadly, we also have collaboration from the police officer, from some chiefs, from government officials. And that was the case in Kitale. When we went to Kitale 2 days ago, we established that there is a lot of incestuous relationship between government officials and these drug cartels. So we have to work. We are going to sack people. We have started sacking them, and they will go to court. Any chief, any police officer, any OCS whose jurisdiction is a drug haven will be dealt with according to the law. They will not be transferred. They will be removed from service. Those who are committing these acts will also be prosecuted accordingly. Therefore, I'm very happy with this renewed energy. Our plan is to ensure that there is enhanced intelligence-led enforcement that is targeting particular areas. And we have also established, thanks to Jukwaa la Usalama, that drugs are more prevalent around colleges and universities. So areas that have, we have colleges and universities will now be our areas of focus. And we must work together to make sure that we deal with towns like, as I said, towns like all the county headquarters. If you go to Kitale, for example, they may not have a university, but they have Kitale Polytechnic with 16,000 students, and then other colleges around there. Eldoret is an area of new target because of the enhanced number of students there. Kisumu, of course, Nairobi, Mombasa, and other towns they are targeted, especially because young people are around there. And This is something we must do together for the sake of our children and for the sake of our future. Secondly, on community engagement and administration, our administrative structures are the bedrock of our government. Our national government administration officers work closely with the people and understand the local dynamics of substance abuse. I'm happy to know that the policy reinforces their role in public awareness, campaigns, community-based prevention initiatives, and identification of at-risk individuals and areas. We will empower our administrators with the necessary training and resources to lead community dialogue, establish local multi-sectoral committees, and engage stakeholders in implementation of various interventions in the community. In fact, we will be rewarding administrators who do a good job and officers, either with promotions or state recognition, because this is a very important exercise that must be done across the country. Thirdly, on border security and control, Kenya's strategic geographical location makes us vulnerable to the transit of illicit drugs. Our ministry will strengthen border controls, enhance surveillance of our ports of entry, and invest in advanced detection technologies to intercept drugs and precursor chemicals. We will continue to collaborate with regional and international partners to combat transnational organized crime networks involved in drug trafficking, and recognizing that this is a global fight that requires global solidarity. You know that in the operations that we are doing in Marsabit, we have netted a lot of drugs: heroin, cocaine, cannabis sativa, and of course, human trafficking. The operation Malisa Walivo also has unearthed some of these organized crime networks. Our vulnerability is as a result of our porous border, and also because of the challenges that neighbors are facing both in South Sudan, Ethiopia, Somalia, and even parts of Uganda. Makes it very difficult for us to deal with this issue. In fact, I was surprised that Kitale is the leading county in terms of presence of this adulterated alcohol and drugs as a result of our proximity to the border and controlled border. And therefore, we want to enhance this control of our borders. External threats, the external threats that we face as a nation includes this issue of drug trafficking. Fourthly, on rehabilitation and reintegration support, while our primary focus is prevention and enforcement, we will also recognize the profound need for rehabilitation and reintegration. The ministry will continue to support efforts to ensure that individuals struggling with addiction are not only rehabilitated, but are integrated back to society as productive citizens. Our correctional facilities will play a role in rehabilitation programs for those within the justice system. And to support this rehabilitation program and also the fight against this menace, I think we need, I will be engaging the Asset Recovery Agency to see how best we can also make it more punitive, first of all, for those who are engaged in these acts, especially because they get very lenient fines. So maybe the best way is to take away the lorry, the car, the equipment, their businesses, their assets that they are built over time. And it's important for asset recovery to appreciate that the law on the proceeds of crimes and anti-money laundering law is not only focusing on corruption. It also focuses on all crimes, all proceeds of all crimes, properly defined in the same law. And we'll be engaging the Asset Recovery Agency to see how best this can be done and make it more punitive. Of course, in some cases, even when we have arrested some of these drug traffickers along Isiolo Road, some of them leave the vehicles and run away. But it's important to target the big men and women within the country. I've realized from the Jukwaa la Usalama and the OCS is telling us that the many calls, you see these political leaders who come to us and say, oh, they said that OCS is not doing a good job. OCS and so is fighting me. OCS so and so is not supporting government. We only discover later that it has nothing to do with government. These are people who are selling adulterated alcohol. They are supplying these dangerous cheap sachets. And so when the police officers take very serious stand, they camouflage and come back either as government supporters or as people who are interested in the well-being of their voters.